Hey guys, Ralph here. Welcome to True Power Trumpet Fitness on this terrific Tuesday here in Connecticut. Life's good, campers. Life is good. Anyway, you saw the thumbnail. The great Tom PORELLO. Is he the best since GOZZO? Ooh, interesting. Fantastic. Fantastic player. Anyway, let me honk and we'll talk about it. Anyway, once again we break out the figure. There he is, right on the end. 85 years old and still freaking killing it. Now, like Delibra yesterday, I met Tom once. And he's very cordial. We've emailed a couple times. We were going to have a lesson when I got out there and blah, blah, blah. It's not like we're pals, but I have heard both of them live, along with all this internet stuff. And something need to be said. Now, once again, I'm not going to, if you saw yesterday's video, and I'm not going to go over the whole thing again about who's a lead player and who's not, and blah, 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 and who the genre, The fact of the matter is, especially the older guys could do anything. Could do anything. Anybody on that Tootie's Trumpets album, which PORELLO is not, could play lead on any one of those things. Okay? GOZZO was the guy. The one that we all deferred to. Well, GOZZO can do this, blah, blah, blah. Now, once again, GOZZO was one of the best symphonic band players back then. They could do anything, unlike today's guys. And I'm not nailing today's guys. I'm not. I'm just talking about the greatness of what was going on back then. Now, remember I said Delibra. Doc's lead trumpet player. Played with Sinatra. Okay. PORELLO. Harry James's lead trumpet player. 5 straight years. He's in the book. He's quoted several times in the book Trumpet Blues. It's a great read. It's very, very dry in that it's a history lesson. It's an absolute history lesson of Harry James and everything that was going on in that era back then. And if that fascinates you, then get the book. Get the book. But it's not going to be, this page turner like a mystery novel. Ooh, I got to see who done it. No. It's like it's the old Grout book that we used to use in music history back in the day. It's a music history lesson, but it's, for me, music history of Harry James, fascinating. Okay. Anyway, quoted in that book, I think it was 5 years. He played lead trumpet, and guys, if you didn't have your act together, you weren't playing lead with Harry James. It's just the exact same thing I said about Delibra and Doc Severinsen. Now, on top of that, guys, he played everything. He played everything from the LA studios to Vegas. I mean, he just played everything. To lift stuff off is ludicrous at this point. Okay? But anyway, he gave a lot of great players lessons. Our own Joe Triscari talks of him affectionately, and I'm sure he will chime in with a little tidbit here or there. There's an excellent interview with Danny Falcone, the great lead player extraordinaire out in Las Vegas. That's another thing, guys. Perico tells me if you don't have a double C, don't come. I mean, that's a prerequisite. I mean, there are just great players. Just anyway, Falcone talks about him just so affectionately, and said the chops were unbelievable. That he once heard him outside his practice room in his home, just nailing the Carnival of Venice up to an F above double C, just as big as a house. I mean, this is what we're talking about here, guys. This is just greatness. And like the Triscari brothers and all that, PORELLO could play first in the MGM Grand Orchestra. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Okay? So anyway, now, best since GOZZO, PORELLO was a colleague of GOZZO. He was in that group. There's no question about it. Now, he was a bit of on the tail end of it, being 85 today, he would have been a baby back then. But tremendous stuff. Okay? Now, I'm leaving a link down below, okay, of a thing he did with Harry James. Now, you talk about pop. Oh, guys. And remember, this for the most part was done live. They didn't have all the punching and overdubbing and all that sort of stuff that we have today. Okay, so this, and listen to the pop, listen to the precision, listen as I talked about the intonation, and if you want to finish up with some screamers at the end, I mean, it's just wonderful what he did. Okay? Excuse me. Still allergy season. Anyway, a couple notes. When I met him, first of all, he plays a 10 3/4 CSW Bach mouthpiece. Now, again, I don't mean box, but I talked a lot about, it was a Mount Vernon version, the original one, okay? Which meant in itself, it didn't have the underbelly that caused the collapse that the other ones did, okay? So 10 3/4 C. Now, if you ever played a 10 1/2 C, just a regular one, as far as Bach goes, that's a small mouthpiece. So 10 1/2 CS, which means smaller cup even then. W was a wide rim, so he had a lot of cushion. So I know in some ways he had a lot of room. Guys, that was a screamer. That was a screamer, and for, 60 years or more, he made the sucker work. He made the sucker work, and he is still killing it today. Now, I knew of him, but I didn't know that much about him. Now, he is one of Perico's top calls. And I said, 85 years old, is he still a double C guy? Perico scoffed. He says, you kidding? Are you kidding? Guys, he's this big. He is this big, a tiny little guy that just kills it. Now, when we were out there, actually, the site of the picture, the night of the picture, we had just gotten through watching the Rat Pack out in Vegas. Now, I told you this, and I didn't put it on DeLibre's thing because I didn't want to, bore you with the same thing. It was DeLibre on lead and PORELLO on second. Now, the Rat Pack, they were reenacting the old Copacabana room. So it wasn't this huge theater. It was more of an intimate setting where those two guys' bells were, I'm going to say, 25 feet from my forehead. Guys, a freaking clinic. A freaking clinic. In that style, Vegas, Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis, the glory days of the swing era and all that sort of stuff. It was a clinic. You talk about blending sound, blending intonation, precision. You listen to the precision down below. Guys, that's what I'm talking about. Two of the greatest since GOZZO, just knocking it out. And you know what? For whatever reason, if they had to switch chairs, they could both do it. They could both do it easily. And on top of the two great players, perfect. A perfect night of trumpet. The arrangements were done by Perico. Very, very liberal use of G's and A's above high C. Guys, it was spectacular. Spectacular. I had Perico on one night and Delibra and PORELLO the next night. Guys, it was one of my favorite trumpet nights. Guys, PORELLO, Delibra, the best is GOZZO. And guys, there was others. Again, I talked about the two guys. There were others. And again, I make no bones about it. I'm a little biased. They were absolutely sweet, sweet guys to hang out after and kibitz with me a little bit. It was wonderful. So, there you go. Anybody has any thoughts on the subject, let me know. If not, we'll talk tomorrow. I got a tidbit from Perico that you're going to love. You're going to love. All right? All right. Love you all, guys. We'll talk again.